Hertz just made the most shocking move in car rental history, dumping thousands of vehicles at prices that seem almost too good to be true. We're talking about brand new electric vehicles going for half their original cost and luxury SUVs being sold for the price of a compact sedan. It sounds like a dream come true for buyers, but there's a dark twist to this story. Hertz's downfall is more than just a bankruptcy. It's a full-blown crisis that's shaking the entire automotive market, from desperate price cuts to rival companies scrambling to keep up. This collapse is about to change everything we know about car rentals and used car values. Why are these cars being sold so cheaply? What hidden risks are buyers walking into? And could this massive liquidation be the final blow that changes the car industry forever? Stick around, because this is one story you cannot afford to miss. The billion-dollar blunder. Buying 100,000 Teslas was supposed to save Hertz, but it turned out to be their most expensive mistake. As Hertz emerged from bankruptcy in 2021, the new leadership made a bold move. In an effort to modernize their aging fleet and capitalize on the growing demand for electric vehicles, Hertz placed a massive order for 100,000 Teslas. The idea seemed brilliant on paper. Hertz would become the first rental giant to offer electric vehicles at scale, appealing to environmentally conscious travelers and positioning itself as a forward-thinking company. However, the gamble quickly turned sour. The first mistake? Misreading consumer demand. Hertz assumed that renters would flock to drive electric vehicles, but the reality was starkly different. Many customers simply weren't interested in the hassle of charging an electric vehicle during a short-term rental. A prime example was the Chevy Silverado electric vehicle that sat in a major rental hub for almost a year, accumulating only 808 miles. It became a symbol of Hertz's failed vision, a high-tech, high-cost vehicle that nobody wanted to rent. The second mistake was even more costly: maintenance nightmares. Unlike conventional cars, electric vehicles require specialized maintenance, and renters unfamiliar with EV technology often mishandled them. One common issue was the charging process. Some renters simply did not understand how to properly charge the vehicle, leading to drained batteries and service calls. Even minor accidents became logistical nightmares, as repairing electric vehicle components often required expensive parts that had to be shipped from Tesla's manufacturing facilities. A minor fender bender could result in a multi-thousand-dollar repair bill. In early 2023, Tesla slashed prices on several models, aiming to boost consumer sales. While this was good news for prospective Tesla buyers, it was disastrous for Hertz. Suddenly, the vehicles that Hertz had paid $60,000 for were now available new for just $40,000. The devaluation was instant and brutal. Hertz found itself holding an inventory worth hundreds of millions less than expected. The story doesn't end here. The consumer market was about to turn the chaos into opportunity. The bargain frenzy. A Tesla Model 3 for less than $2,000. Are these deals too good to be true? Imagine walking into a dealership and spotting a barely used one-year-old Chevy Silverado EV priced at $35,000 below its original cost. That is not a typo. It is happening right now as Hertz scrambles to liquidate its fleet. Buyers across the country are snapping up these bargains, and it feels like an automotive Black Friday every day. But how did prices drop this drastically, and why are these deals pouring into the market at such a breakneck pace? When Hertz declared bankruptcy and faced mounting debts, the company had no choice but to start selling off its vehicles. What initially seemed like a desperate move has turned into a golden opportunity for bargain hunters. The most shocking deals are found among electric vehicles, especially Teslas, which have seen some of the steepest price cuts. A Tesla Model 3, originally priced at over $46,000, is now being offered for just $1,913. The price drop seems almost impossible to believe. The same goes for other high-value models. The Silverado EV, which hit Hertz's fleet just 12 months ago at $89,395, is now being sold for $54,000. In some cases, buyers who show up with financing secured can negotiate prices down to $48,000. That is a staggering $35,000 drop in value within 1 year. It is not just luxury or electric cars that are being sold at fire sale prices. Family SUVs like the Toyota RAV4, typically valued at around $29,000, are being offered for as low as $23,000. That is a 25% discount on a model known for its resale value. Even mid-tier sedans like the Honda Accord and Mazda CX-5 are seeing unprecedented markdowns. Buyers are understandably flocking to Hertz sales lots and online listings, eager to capitalize on what seems like a once-in-a-lifetime chance to own a high-quality vehicle at a rock-bottom price. But while some buyers feel like they have hit the jackpot, others are scratching their heads. How can a car lose up to 96% of its value in just 12 months? The answer lies in Hertz's desperate need to generate cash flow and the unfortunate timing of Tesla's own price cuts. When Tesla slashed the price of its new models, Hertz found itself holding a fleet worth far less than what it paid. To minimize losses, Hertz had to move inventory fast, even if it meant taking a hit on every sale. For consumers, it is an unexpected windfall. But as the saying goes, if it seems too good to be true, it probably is. Not every deal is a win. Some could cost you more than you bargained for. The hidden dangers. What looks like a bargain today could turn into a financial nightmare tomorrow. Rental cars, especially those from companies like Hertz, lead hard lives. Unlike privately owned vehicles, rental cars are driven by dozens, sometimes hundreds of people, each with different driving habits and levels of care. When these cars hit the used market, they come with a unique set of risks that most buyers do not anticipate. One of the biggest risks is mechanical wear and tear. Rental cars often endure rough handling, hard acceleration, sudden braking, and irregular maintenance schedules. Transmission issues are particularly common. During your test drive, it is crucial to check for any hesitation, clunking, or jerking when shifting gears. A transmission problem on a used car can lead to repair costs reaching thousands of dollars. Then there is the suspension system, which can take a beating from rental users who frequently bump curbs or hit potholes. Uneven tire wear or unusual noises when driving over rough terrain can signal costly repairs ahead. Electric vehicles pose their own set of challenges. Battery degradation is a major concern. Many buyers overlook checking the battery health when purchasing a used EV, but it is vital. For Teslas and similar models, you can access battery health data through the vehicle's settings. If the battery's capacity has dropped below 90% after less than 30,000 miles, it could mean the car has experienced faster than normal degradation, which can significantly impact its long-term value and usability. Another hidden danger is the risk of previous damage or incomplete repairs. Hertz, in a rush to sell, may not always disclose every incident. Check the car's history report for any recorded accidents and inspect the vehicle personally or with a trusted mechanic. Even small accidents can lead to structural issues that affect safety and durability. One buyer, thrilled to find a deal on a used Ford Explorer, soon discovered that the vehicle had undergone multiple quick-fix repairs that left the suspension dangerously loose. Another customer reported that a seemingly pristine Toyota Camry had serious electrical problems due to faulty post-rental modifications. In both cases, what seemed like an incredible bargain quickly turned into a financial burden. For those who navigate the risks, there is still a way to come out on top. Financing pitfalls. Hertz's desperate deals come with a catch. If you are not careful, financing could cost you more than the car itself. The problem often begins when buyers are drawn to Hertz's in-house financing options. On the surface, it seems convenient, but these deals frequently come with higher interest rates compared to what you can find elsewhere. Some buyers have reported being offered rates as high as 8%, while local credit unions can offer rates as low as 5%. That difference can cost you thousands of dollars over the life of the loan. To avoid these pitfalls, it is crucial to secure financing before you visit the sales lot. Pre-approval from a credit union or a reputable bank not only gives you negotiating power, but also ensures you are not locked into a high APR. Credit unions, in particular, are known for offering competitive rates and flexible terms for used vehicles, especially in cases where the purchase price is significantly below book value. Another financial trap to watch out for is insurance markups. Some buyers discover that insurance premiums for ex-rental cars can be significantly higher, sometimes 10 to 15% more than similar privately owned models. This is because insurance companies consider rental cars a higher risk due to their usage history. To minimize costs, get insurance quotes based on the specific car's VIN before committing to a purchase. In one particularly unfortunate case, a buyer who financed through Hertz's recommended partner ended up with a 7% interest rate and an insurance premium nearly 20% higher than expected. By the time they refinanced, they had already lost hundreds in interest payments. Being proactive and doing your research can save you from similar financial headaches. But with the right strategy, you can turn Hertz's desperation into your financial gain. How to snag the real deals. Scoring a great deal from Hertz is not about luck. It is about knowing where to look and how to negotiate. First, focus on the vehicle types that retain value even after hard rental use. SUVs and sedans from brands like Toyota, Honda, and Mazda are particularly reliable. For example, a 2023 Toyota RAV4 with 22,000 miles that typically sells for $29,000 might be available for as low as $23,000. Timing your purchase is crucial. End-of-month sales are often the best time to buy, as Hertz sales staff are more likely to negotiate to meet their quotas. Be sure to inspect the car in person and point out minor cosmetic issues. Often minor dents or worn interiors can result in significant markdowns, even though the repairs may cost far less than the discount you receive. Avoid relying solely on Hertz's website listings. While convenient, the best deals are often at physical locations where local managers have more flexibility on pricing. Additionally, keep an eye on auction sites where Hertz is offloading inventory. Sometimes working with a broker who has auction access can help you secure vehicles at even lower prices. By combining smart financing, careful inspection, and strategic timing, you can maximize your savings. Buyers who approach these sales with a clear strategy are walking away with vehicles worth thousands more than they paid. The true impact reaches beyond the financial world. Workers and communities are bracing for the fallout. Community backlash and worker outrage. For workers, Hertz's collapse isn't just corporate failure, it's a betrayal of their livelihoods. As Hertz liquidates assets and shutters locations, thousands of employees are left scrambling for answers. Job losses aren't just numbers on a balance sheet, they are families without incomes, towns losing economic stability, and communities grappling with sudden economic downturns. Protests have erupted in some regions, with workers demanding better severance packages and more transparent communication from Hertz leadership. Worker advocacy groups are calling for government intervention, arguing that Hertz's poor management decisions should not be borne by employees alone. Some former employees are banding together to file lawsuits, claiming they were given insufficient notice of mass layoffs. Local governments are also stepping in, seeking to mitigate the economic fallout by offering retraining programs and job placement assistance. However, the scale of the collapse means that not everyone will find new employment quickly. The effects go beyond just the workers. Local economies are taking a hit as Hertz offices and rental locations close. Small businesses that relied on Hertz's presence, like local car washes, repair shops, and nearby diners, are losing regular customers. In some smaller towns, the loss of a Hertz branch means not just fewer jobs, but a noticeable decline in foot traffic and local spending. For these communities, the collapse feels less like a corporate failure and more like an economic blow to their very identity. Adding to the pain is the issue of vacant Hertz buildings. These once bustling locations are now eerily quiet, their parking lots filled with unsold cars or left empty after liquidation. Real estate companies are unsure how to repurpose these spaces, and towns fear that prolonged vacancies will invite crime or urban decay. As local leaders scramble for solutions, the sense of betrayal remains fresh among those who invested their careers in a company that seemed too big to fail. Just as communities begin to push back, another unexpected twist emerges. Lessons from a corporate collapse. Hertz's downfall is more than just a cautionary tale. It's a roadmap for what not to do. The company's failure to accurately gauge consumer demand for electric vehicles is a prime example of strategic miscalculation. Instead of carefully assessing the market, Hertz went all in on a massive purchase of Teslas, betting that the move would modernize their fleet and attract eco-conscious renters. In reality, the plan backfired, leaving the company with underutilized assets that rapidly lost value. Another glaring mistake was failing to secure bulk discounts on those purchases. While most large buyers negotiate fleet deals, Hertz's decision to pay near retail prices crippled their profit margins from the start. This lack of foresight not only cost the company billions, but also set a dangerous precedent for other rental companies looking to modernize without properly balancing cost and value. A third critical error was Hertz's inadequate consumer research. They assumed that renters would flock to electric vehicles without considering practical issues like charging infrastructure, unfamiliarity with EV technology, and the hassle of maintaining taking electric vehicles on long trips. In essence, Hertz tried to force a consumer trend rather than respond to an existing one, a risky strategy that ultimately proved fatal. The broader implication for the automotive and rental industries is clear. Companies must stay grounded in consumer realities rather than betting on trends without clear evidence of demand. Other rental companies are taking note, carefully reconsidering their own fleet strategies to avoid a similar fate. Yet, as more firms explore electric vehicle integration, the question remains whether they will learn from Hertz's mistakes or repeat them. The shockwaves from Hertz's collapse don't stop with the company itself. The entire industry is now at risk. The consumer perspective: gamble or opportunity? Car buyers are caught in a dilemma. Is purchasing a Hertz liquidation car a stroke of genius or a costly mistake waiting to happen? The promise of deep discounts is undeniably tempting. Imagine snagging a one-year-old Tesla Model 3 for less than $2,000 or a Chevy Silverado EV for half its original price. For some, these deals appear too good to pass up, but others are approaching with caution. The reality is that buying one of these liquidation vehicles is a gamble, one that could either save thousands or lead to a financial headache. Consumers are split into two camps. On one side, bargain hunters are rushing to Hertz sales lots, hoping to score deals they might never see again. These buyers are strategizing meticulously, researching vehicle history, bringing their own mechanics for inspections, and securing financing beforehand to avoid last-minute snags. They understand that while prices are appealing, the risks are real. On the other side are cautious investors who are wary of the potential long-term costs. They recognize that many of these cars come with hidden flaws, excessive wear, questionable maintenance histories, and even electronic issues from previous renters. For them, the fear of buying a problematic vehicle outweighs the allure of the discount. There are already stories from both sides of the spectrum. Some buyers are celebrating their smart investments, like one who picked up a Toyota RAV4 for 25% less than market value. The car was practically new, with fewer than 15,000 miles on the odometer, and after a thorough inspection, it turned out to be in pristine condition. Conversely, others have found themselves in dire straits, such as a man who bought a discounted Tesla, only to discover that its battery health was significantly degraded. The repair costs ended up outweighing the savings. The unpredictable nature of car values is also throwing off many potential buyers. Traditionally, used car prices depreciate at a steady rate, but this sudden influx of Hertz vehicles has upended that norm. Some fear that buying now means losing even more value in the coming months as additional rental cars hit the market. To mitigate this, savvy consumers are focusing on vehicles with historically high resale value. Models like the Honda Civic or the Toyota Camry, believing these cars will hold steady despite the turmoil. While buyers weigh the risks, other companies are preparing to make bold moves. They see Hertz's collapse not just as a cautionary tale, but as an opportunity to capture a larger market share. Corporate reactions: a race to adapt. If Hertz can fall, no rental company is safe. The collapse has sent shockwaves throughout the industry, prompting major players like Avis and Enterprise to reassess their strategies. The rental market is inherently volatile, and the dramatic failure of Hertz has revealed just how vulnerable even the most established companies can be. So how are competitors adapting to survive? Avis, for instance, has taken a drastically different approach. Rather than overcommitting to electric vehicles like Hertz did, Avis is diversifying its fleet with a balanced mix of fuel-efficient traditional cars and hybrid models. They are also negotiating better deals with manufacturers, learning from Hertz's mistake of paying near retail prices for Teslas. By focusing on flexibility rather than committing to a single automotive trend, Avis is positioning itself as more adaptable to shifting consumer preferences. Enterprise, on the other hand, is doubling down on its strong regional networks. While Hertz focused on large urban markets and flashy new models, Enterprise is expanding its presence in smaller towns and airports, offering practical, affordable vehicles that appeal to everyday renters. Additionally, they are leveraging customer loyalty programs to maintain a steady flow of repeat business, something Hertz neglected when it aimed to modernize its image rather than maintaining customer connections. Some smaller rental companies are also stepping up. By purchasing liquidated Hertz vehicles at rock-bottom prices, they can offer competitive rates without bearing the initial investment risk. These companies are rebranding their fleets and openly advertising that they have acquired former Hertz cars, turning the situation into a marketing advantage. One such company in California is even branding their fleet as ex-Hertz deals, drawing curious customers eager to snag a bargain. In terms of marketing, competitors are highlighting their financial stability. Ads focus on reliability, customer service, and a varied fleet rather than luxury or innovation. The message is clear. They are not about to follow Hertz's path of risky investment. As more rental companies adapt, the industry itself is shifting away from grand electrification projects and returning to basics, reliable service, and diverse vehicle options. While the rental giants struggle to adapt, the automotive industry itself is undergoing a profound transformation. The global implications, a rental car crisis, unfolds. Hertz's downfall is not just an American problem, it's a global automotive crisis. The sudden liquidation of thousands of vehicles is having ripple effects well beyond U.S. borders, as international markets are now contending with an unexpected influx of used cars. In regions where car imports play a crucial role, such as Europe and Asia, the sudden glut of vehicles is causing unpredictable price fluctuations and logistical challenges. In Europe, where environmental standards are stricter, the influx of electric vehicles from Hertz's liquidation is causing confusion among dealers. Many of these cars do not meet the latest emissions regulations, making them less attractive, even at reduced prices. Dealers are hesitant to purchase large batches without guarantees that they can sell them, leading to bottlenecks in the market. Meanwhile, countries that rely on second-hand U.S. vehicles, like those in Eastern Europe, are seeing a temporary boost in inventory. Asian markets are also reacting cautiously. In Japan and South Korea, where domestic brands dominate, the flood of used Teslas and Chevys is less appealing. However, in countries with a growing demand for electric vehicles, like China, savvy buyers are snapping up these cars for personal use or resale. The challenge is dealing with the variations in specifications and standards that differ from local models. Rental companies outside the United States are also wary. Companies in Canada and Mexico, traditionally stable markets, are reassessing their fleet strategies to avoid overcommitment to specific brands or technology trends. Some are even offering loyalty bonuses to keep customers from defecting to cheaper options available from liquidated Hertz stock. The global reaction is a mixture of caution and opportunity. While some dealers see a chance to increase their inventory cheaply, others fear being overwhelmed by the sudden supply. The real question is how long the ripple effects will last and whether they will fundamentally change the way car rentals and sales are handled worldwide. In the midst of this chaos, one group is unexpectedly thriving, and it's not who you'd think. The unexpected winners, who's profiting from Hertz's collapse. When one giant falls, others rise. So who's cashing in on Hertz's nightmare? Surprisingly, it is not just consumers getting lucky with low-priced cars. The real winners are smaller rental companies, repair shops, and even car flippers who specialize in quick resales. Small rental companies are purchasing liquidated Hertz cars at significant discounts, refurbishing them, and then re-renting them at rates below what larger companies can afford. Their overhead is lower, and with these affordable vehicles, they can pass on savings to customers while maintaining profitability. Meanwhile, car dealerships are also taking advantage. By buying Hertz cars at auction, they are able to sell them at competitive prices while still maintaining a healthy profit margin. Repair shops specializing in electric vehicles are seeing an uptick in business too, as new owners of liquidated EVs face unexpected maintenance challenges. Even individual buyers who know how to spot a good deal are turning around and selling these vehicles for a quick profit. In some states, flipping former rental cars has become a niche business, with online marketplaces flooded with low-mileage cars being resold at a markup. The losers in this scenario are those who previously purchased similar models at market price. They now find their vehicle's value significantly diminished, making it harder to sell or refinance. Banks holding car loans on depreciating vehicles are also facing increased default risks, leading to tightened lending practices. But the real question remains: will Hertz's collapse be the wake-up call the industry needed, or just the beginning of a much larger crisis?